There was a time when a plant was silenced, feared, and condemned to oblivion. Yet, within has the power that neither fear nor prohibition could extinguish. Today, marijuana rises as a beacon of hope, transforming lives, challenging prejudice, and offering relief where there was once only suffering. For cancer patients and many others, it is a bridge between science and nature, between the past and a more compassionate future. This is the path to healing and understanding. Every year, cancer claims the lives of nearly 10 million people worldwide. A devastating toll that spares no one, regardless of age, gender, or geography. Affecting countless families across generations, many patients endure the harsh reality of treatments that often feel like a battle against their own bodies. For most, cancer has long meant war, a relentless battle waged with poison, radiation, exhaustion, pain, and fear. Amidst this struggle, a glimmer of optimism emerges from an unexpected source. A new approach offering hope for a different kind of fight. This groundbreaking method is not only transforming how we understand cancer, but also revolutionizing how we address and fight the disease, offering a gentler and more effective path toward healing. This story begins here, at the foot of the majestic Niagara Falls, a breathtaking force of nature, full of life, a symbol of hope for humanity. In the shadow of these cascading waters, one man's journey emerges. And just like the flowing energy of the falls that shape Earth, he is reshaping the way we confront and heal from cancer. In a small town west of Toronto, something truly extraordinary is happening. Something that may forever change the way we combat this disease. For the first time in history, there is hope. At the center of this transformation is an unlikely hero, a high-purity cannabinoid oil that is rewriting the rules, working in harmony with the immune system to build a powerful line of defense. This cannabis oil has been developed by Lee Whitley, a man who dared to think differently. These compounds, derived from cannabis, interact with the body's endocannabinoid system, a network responsible for regulating and controlling our body's most critical functions, such as immune and inflammatory response, pain, emotional processing, and so much more. While conventional treatments target cancer cells directly, this oil works on multiple levels, reducing inflammation, mitigating pain, and most importantly, killing cancer tumors. This story begins many years ago when Lee lost his brother to cancer. A devastating moment that ignited a relentless quest for a cure. Lee immersed himself in research, determined to find an alternative to the limited options offered by conventional medicine. Nevertheless, his journey took an unexpected turn when, not long ago, he himself was diagnosed with squamous cell throat cancer, one of the most aggressive forms. Suddenly, the man who had dedicated his life to healing others faced the ultimate test of his own discovery. Confronted with the disheartening odds, Lee placed his life in the hands of the very treatment he had developed. This is his testimony.
My name is Lee Whitley. I'm the founder of Lee's Oil. On May 29th, 2024, I got diagnosed of my own cancer, and it was devastating. Well, I woke up one morning, and I've seen this lump on the side of my neck starting. I didn't know what it was. I called a friend of mine, Dr. Ira Price, and I called him up, and he said, come by and see me. So I went by and seen him. And he said it might be something with sour candy, so I ate some sour candy, and it didn't go down. And then my wife contacted him 3 weeks later, and by this time it started to get to be a pretty good size. And so that night we went to his hospital where he works, and I got a CAT scan. And at 1:30 in the morning, May 29th, I found out that I had throat cancer. At the beginning, he thought it was just something with a little bit of swelling from sour candy or something, and I took that, and 3 weeks later it got much bigger. So I went back, and my wife called Dr. Ira Price, and he said, bring Lee in tonight. So that night we went in, and we got a CAT scan, and he diagnosed me. Dr. Ira Price, thank you for everything you've done.
Glad I was around to help.
So am I. You know? Maybe you can explain what really happened with me in a better way.
Yeah, I mean, I think you did a wonderful job at explaining the progression where you started from. I actually initially, when you called me up, I thought you had what's called sialolithiasis, which is a salivary stone. It's a gland. It's from a gland that kind of comes in your throat. And we see it very often in the emergency department, and usually this is why you brought up the idea of sour candy, is because sour candy usually makes it better and takes away the blockage, and the stone usually passes. That's, you know, when we think about those things, that's the, like, usually if it walks like a duck, it's a duck, and we're not looking too much further. But if it doesn't get better, that's when we have to start looking for different things. And so you called me up 3 weeks later. Actually, your wife called me up 3 weeks later and said it wasn't getting better. And that's when I'm like, you got to come in right now. So you came in, you saw me on night shift, and we did a CAT scan. And the CAT scan showed that you had what was likely a tumor or a large mass coming from a lymph node that was in the side of your neck. But there was also something noticed in your throat. At the time, I didn't know it was squamous cell carcinoma yet. So I referred you off to a cancer specialist, and the cancer specialist did a biopsy. And that's where they found out that it was likely squamous cell carcinoma of your throat as the primary cancer that was then causing this big tumor in the side of your neck.
Yeah, I got a squamous cell in my throat. And as you guys know, Dr. Ira Price is my doctor. He's also my personal doctor now because I don't really have one anymore. And I think he can explain, he's seen all the reports and everything. I think he can explain what really happened here.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I'm a little bit shook right now. I'm by nature, as a physician and a scientist, I am very skeptical. Always skeptical.
Oh, I know that.
And as we've gotten into it before.
N of one?
Yeah, well, you are an N of one. You are. And every case that you've done is an N of one until we put this into a proper trial, which should be done now. And I say that because of the reports I just read. So when you got diagnosed, when we diagnosed you with this cancer and we sent you to the St. Joe's, and we did the biopsies, it came back, your neck biopsy came back as metastatic, which means cancer that's moved away from where the primary cancer is. So metastatic squamous cell carcinoma of the neck. That's what it came back as. I read the report. And you didn't do anything. You refused chemotherapy, you refused radiation, and you said you are just going to use your medicine.
And I refused the operation.
And you refused an operation.
And I refused to get my tongue cut out.
And you refused to get your tongue cut out. And I thought you were nuts. I'm gonna be honest, I always think you're nuts.
I know.
But like in this case, I thought, at least do something. Like surgery takes things away. Well, I think we're all, in medicine, we're taught a way, and which is traditional Western medicine, and it involves chemo, radiation, and surgery. Surgery is usually the cure for for cancers that can be cut out. It's the best option. You take it out, it's gone. And we're not used to seeing cancers cure in other ways. We don't have the research or the evidence for it. Like, there's no way this is gonna work, and I hope it does. I've seen failures, I've seen successes.
How does it look anyway?
Wait a second.
How does it look?
I'll talk, okay, it looks great. I don't see anything there except a scar, and it's soft, which is even more interesting. And so we don't see that in medicine. We don't have the opportunity to see that very often in medicine, where you see a cancer that was once there, he didn't do anything with it, and any of the traditional methods, and all of a sudden it's no longer there. And so it's not normal. And what I just read right now shows me that those things they're necessary sometimes. And in tradition, we have a lot of evidence, hundreds of years of evidence for those things. But what you did for your cancer has put you into remission. I read the report right now that says you have no cancer in your neck. And I made the diagnosis May 29th, and it is what, November? That's 3 months. I'm a skeptic.
Yeah.
I'm the first person to tell you that this isn't working. I love cannabis. I am a proponent of cannabis for so many things. I've been prescribing it for 15 years. One of the first clinics in Canada, one of the first physicians. I've educated thousands of physicians on the use of cannabis for multiple things. And I would never say that cannabis is prime time for cancer treatment. But then I look at you, and I read that report right now, because even walking in here today, I wasn't, I'm like, yeah, maybe the cancer is, there's a small piece. I spoke to the doctor, there's something left. But I just read the biopsy report that says there is no evidence of cancer in your neck.
Don't cry.
And well, I can't believe it. It's hard to believe as a practitioner of Western medicine. Your medicine that you created, that Lee's oil, was the only thing you used.
That's it.
And there's no cancer there anymore. And if somebody doesn't come knocking down your door and give you $100 million, well, there's something wrong with the world. You, as an N of one, your medicine worked. What I can say for you is that you did nothing else. I can't talk for other people who have done chemo, radiation, didn't work. Maybe they're sent home to die, they use your medicine. Maybe that stuff did help and this helped finish it. Maybe it's great as an adjunct, but what I can say for you in particular is that you had cancer, you do not have cancer, and the only thing you did was your oil.
My name is Lee Whitley. I was diagnosed with cancer on May 29th, 2024. I'm the founder of Lee's Oil, and this is how I healed myself.
Meet Isabel, a brave 10-year-old little girl with a story that transcends the pain and fear of her battle with cancer. In July of 2022, her life took a drastic turn, a diagnosis that no child should ever face: leukemia. Isabel's journey began with what doctors initially dismissed as growing pains. But as her condition worsened, a trip to McMaster Children's Hospital confirmed every parent's nightmare. Leukemia, a battle that would bring her face to face with the fragility of life. Through the recommendation of a family friend, they found hope in an unconventional treatment: THC oil.
We started with the traditional medicine, and unfortunately that didn't work as well as we hoped with everything that she's gone through. When we found Lee, we heard his stories and his success rates, and we figured there was no harm in trying to do everything that we can for our daughter. And so far, everything is going well.
When your child is sick and everything else seems to be falling by the wayside, it's kind of easier to try anything you can to give the best chance for your child to carry on in this world. From our last test results, Isabel is leukemia-free, and we are the Fedor family, and this is how we healed from cancer.
I want you, I need you, oh God. Don't take these beautiful things I've done. Please stay.
So what's the secret behind this miracle? Cannabis has multiple ways for killing cancer cells, such as anti-proliferative effects, which halt cancer cell reproduction, apoptotic effects that promotes cancer cell death without harming healthy cells, anti-metastatic effects that blocks cancer cells from spreading, and anti-angiogenesis effects that prevents tumors from forming blood vessels. Research from Seth Laboratories shows cannabis can target cancer cells while sparing healthy ones. Further investigation is essential. This is not just a story about cancer. It's about those who refused to give up, who dared to believe that healing was possible. And for the first time, they might just be right. Nathan's journey began as an athletic, enthusiastic, and devoted family man. But in the fall of 2022, his life took an unexpected turn.
I'm Nathan Duarte. I was diagnosed on October 28th, 2022 with glioblastoma. I was given 12 to 18 months to live, and this is how I healed my cancer. I've always been interested in running a marathon, and that's how I found out about my cancer. I was actually experiencing double vision, tinnitus. I was having ringing in my ears. I was experiencing headaches, massive pressure. I had behavioral changes. I was becoming very emotional. I went to get an eye exam done, and that my optic nerve was severely bleeding. They rushed me to the hospital. And after getting to the hospital, I did a CT scan. Now, the diagnosing doctor said it was severely large. He was surprised I didn't have a speech impediment. It was about 7.5 centimeters, and it was the size of a peach. And that was October 28th when I got diagnosed. And on November 1st, that was my first surgery. I had to search out multiple other avenues of how to heal my cancer because the information out there there's so much of it. I was lucky enough that I heard this Kid Carson podcast with Lee Whitley 2 weeks before I was diagnosed with cancer. It was like landed in my lap. It was one of the biggest miracles of my life. 2 weeks later, I was diagnosed with glioblastoma, the size of a peach. Hearing that I had 12 to 18 months to survive, I literally wrote goodbye notes to my family. So imagine the impact that it had on me, my wife, my parents, and my 12-year-old son. I was very stubborn. My wife's like, oh, we're going to take you to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm going to fight. Like, I'm not going to go to the hospital because in my opinion, that's not where you go to heal. So after talking with my family, and we're all super emotional, we decided that because of the aggressiveness of my cancer, that we're going to try both the traditional route, chemotherapy, radiation, as well, because there wasn't too many testimonial videos out at the time. I didn't have anything for reference. So that's why I decided, I want to throw everything I can at this cancer, whatever is going to help. And it was later in the process that, I told my oncologist, I was very open with them. I was like, hey, this man, Lee Whitley, I'm getting my medication from, it's helping me. And just so you know, every one of my scans on Lee's medication has consistently shrunk until I just heard that I'm in remission. And so that's fantastic. So then when I told my oncologist, hey, yes, I'm going to do one round and go with radiation, but this is the treatment that I'm on. And he said, you know what he says to me? He says, you're being scammed. And he couldn't rebut my argument, because I was like, well, how am I getting scammed? This man, out of the goodness of his heart, give this to cancer patients for free. I'm not even paying a cent. Lee Whitley seriously spoke with so much authenticity that you couldn't convince me that he was lying. And I thought to myself, like, even if he was, that he's got to be a horrible human being. But I put my faith in him, and my whole family did. And thank God I did, because now I'm over 2 years out, and I've now been told by my oncologist I'm in remission. You can't convince me it wasn't Lee's medication, because they told me straight from the horse's mouth that chemotherapy and radiation wouldn't be the cause of shrinking my specific type of cancer. So I credit that all to the pills. I'm Nathan Duarte. That is my testimony, and that is how I healed my cancer.
Each year, breast cancer claims the lives of approximately 685,000 women globally, making it the leading cause of cancer-related deaths among women. Yet, in the face of these staggering numbers, there is hope. Affecting 1 in 8 women, breast cancer remains one of the most deadly opponents. But through exploration, belief in healing, and the strength of community, new paths are being forged to fight this disease and bring hope to millions around the world.
I'm Lisa. In January 2022, I discovered I have a cancer, and that's how I healed from cancer.
My name's Angela, and I'm Lisa's daughter. And initially, with her diagnosis in January of 2022, we started with the oncology department at Juravinski Hospital. We were under the assumption that it would be a simple lumpectomy. After an MRI, it was discovered that it was grossly underestimated as to the size of the lump in her breast. So it went from 2 centimeters to 5.9 centimeters. Obviously, we were devastated, because at this point we thought it would be an easy lumpectomy and we could move on. But after this, her oncologist advised that the only option for her was to have a mastectomy. Mom was adamantly opposed to the idea of removing her breast. We decided to wait, research different avenues, and avoid doing any surgery or any chemo or radiation at this point. We started the journey of natural recovery. With monitoring, we've come a year from now, and we met with the doctor again. Despite having a slight reduction in her lump, they still encouraged Mom to have a mastectomy. We still declined to have a mastectomy. And then our third appointment with the oncologist, she would no longer see us, because we were not taking her advice, and we were not essentially setting up an appointment to have a mastectomy. And she felt that she couldn't help her anymore. In April of 2022 is when a friend introduced me to Lee. On the phone, he was gracious, understanding, and said, just bring my mom over. And we came to his house. We sat with him at his kitchen table for an hour, just discussing Mom's journey. And he gave us so much hope and let us go with, I think, a bottle or two of his pills, which she's been on till this day. I believe she started with 3 pills a night. She originally had some tiredness and was a little bit, a little high. She was stoned. She was stoned for the first little while, but eventually she was able to do it, and she did it every day. And anytime I needed pills, I would call Lee up and he'd say, come right over. And that's where we are today. Initially, not everybody was on board with Mom's journey, but since taking these pills and seeing the results over, every ultrasound that she's been getting and the continued shrinkage to the point that they're no longer there, I think we've got a lot more believers in what we've done and what she's done, and just how she feels and what she's been able to do over the last year and a half. She's probably healthier, stronger, and none of it has been through doing chemo radiation. It was all natural. It was all through Lee's oil and sticking to that. How do you feel?
I feel great. It's like the journey that I had now, we're doing very well. Right now, as my doctor say, I'm cancer-free, and it's a great relief. Thanks to Lee. It's really good. Thanks, Lee. I'm Lisa, and that's how I cured my cancer with Lee oil.
Charlie's journey began with a simple phone call that changed everything. But his story is not one of despair. It's one of resilience, unexpected connections, and a decision that would alter his fate.
My name is Charlie Brown. I am 64 years old. I was diagnosed with lung cancer on January 2022. And this is how I healed myself from cancer. When they told me that I had cancer in my lung, it was a different feeling. I was driving home from one of the tests that they'd sent me on, and I received a phone call from my lung specialist, and he told me that there was cancer in my lung, and it was deep in my nodule. There'd be a lot more tests. Things were going to happen quickly. Scared me that I received the phone call and what the lung specialist had told me. And before I even had a chance to do that, my banker had called me and just in conversation asked me how I was, and I told him I just got diagnosed with cancer in my lung, just like that. I had already lost my brother 6 years prior to that to cancer, so I was afraid. And Adam told me, don't worry, where are you? What are you doing? Turn around, come back to the city, I'll pick you up, and I'm gonna take you to see a friend of mine. His name is Lee Whitley. Lee didn't charge me anything for anything, nothing. I was a test. So I started the pills right away. So it was 3 months before I had to go back in to have another PET scan at the hospital. And when I went back, the funny thing is it had shrunk already by a millimeter or something. It was enough to be noticeable. My wife said, he's a farmer. He's a 10 to 20,000 step a day guy. And I did that. And that was probably the best thing I ever did, with the help of my family and my kids and doctors and Lee, obviously, and Annette, who's been amazing, his wife. I healed in record-breaking time. Nobody can believe that I recovered from 2 things. But I truly believe things happen for a reason. Like Lee, my banker, introduces me to Lee. I go to get my surgery, and this guy, Andy, who's working there, says to me, I've never seen anybody recover as fast as you except for one person. And I said, who's that? He said, Lee Whitley. That's a miracle. It's 28 pounds. I'm fitter than I have been in probably 20 years. And definitely not this light and energetic and strong. And I have a lot of thanks to give to this family. As far as taking a chance, and if you're looking for alternatives or you're looking for any direction, I lucked out. I never had to have chemo. I wouldn't have taken chemo anyway, to be very honest with you, because I saw what it did to my brother. And it was so sad. And I'm not that story. I'm not sad. I may seem sad. I'm happy. And I couldn't be any happier. And I couldn't be any healthier at this stage of my life. And I will continue to take 2 pills a day until I'm toast, because I'm not going to be toast for a very long time. I'm not done here. My last MRI showed that the nodule was the same size, smaller, had gone black, and is no longer a problem. So my name is Charlie Brown. I am cancer-free. This is my testimony, and this is how I healed myself from cancer.
Meet Annette Nolan. She battled endometrial cancer, a type of cancer that begins in the lining of the uterus, known as the endometrium. This is one of the most common forms of gynecological cancers, especially affecting post-menopausal women. Annette not only survived, but has since become an emblem of inspiration for others facing similar battles. Her story is a testament of resilience and serves as a rallying call for further advancements in cancer care.
I'm Annette Nolan. I had endometrial cancer in my colon with a 12.5 centimeter and a 5 centimeter tumor. So I went to another oncologist who talked to me about the endometrial cancer, wanted me to do chemo and radiation. I reached out to Lee. She actually saw how bad I was, so she drove from an hour and a half to Lee's house to say to Lee, you have to help this person. Lee drove to my house and saw me, and I guess he took one look at me and realized what most other people probably realize, is that I was in pretty bad shape. He then brought me these pills, these cannabis pills to take, and said, you have to take these pills, get up to a certain level, and I'm going to take you out of the country and I'm going to get your tumor. That point with my first MRI showed that the tumor was 12.5 centimeters. Lee paid for all this for me, not only for me to go, but for my sister to go. I was in a wheelchair. That's how bad I was. I was brought in a wheelchair to this place. When it hit the 8-week mark, it was like a switch went off. And something happened and it changed. It wasn't gradual for me, and it might have been for some people, but it wasn't gradual. It was just all of a sudden, my life changed. One of my MRIs, my second last MRI, showed the tumor as 4 centimeters. So I said to Lee, everything's going great. And he said, Annette, nope, let's go back, let's get her done. Waited 6 weeks, had another MRI. My oncologist called me and she said, I never forget where I was sitting, and she phoned and she said to me, you must be so happy, Annette. I'm so happy. She goes, now what I want you to do is I want you to be happy, and I want you to enjoy your family, and I want you to live your life. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to all the people that prayed for me, because I know that that was an important part of it. And I am grateful for Lee. Saved my life. Words
just can't say it. Like words don't say it.
I'm Annette Nolan. I had endometrial cancer in my colon with a 12.5 centimeter and a 5 centimeter tumor that blocked 95% of my colon. I am cancer-free. This is my testimonial and how I healed from cancer.
Cancer is a battle that leaves scars, some visible, others hidden deep within. Peter is a retired automotive worker. The cost of survival came with an unimaginable price: the potential loss of his leg. Peter was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, a rare and aggressive form of bone cancer. His doctors warned him of its relentless nature, emphasizing that the only way to stop it from spreading was amputation. The words were crushing, not just for what they meant physically, but for what they represented. A loss of freedom, identity, and the life Peter had built for himself. Save your life, but lose a part of who you are. Imagine facing such a choice. The road ahead was plagued with uncertainty, and the emotional toll weighed as heavy as the cancer itself. Peter's story is not just about healing. It's about courage in the face of the impossible odds, and the determination to fight for a future where scars become symbols of survival, not defeat.
It all started back in, I guess it was spring, summer of 2023, is when I started feeling some pains and aches and pains on my hip, my leg, my lower back, and my right side. Always up to something, always working outside and doing things, and just happened to get worse and worse as time went along. And on my way home, I was in so much pain. When I called my wife to tell her I'm on my way home, I was crying in pain. I couldn't handle it anymore. So she said, "That's it, we're going to the hospital." I said, no, we're going to the hospital. After being there 16 hours, doing all kinds of tests, they came to me and told me, "You have cancer." Just like that, you have cancer. My world at that time stopped. I did the radiation. I did 25 sessions of radiation, but it did not help. It was supposed to encase the tumor, but what had happened, the tumor had gotten bigger.
Double the size.
Double the size. At that point, they told me
January 23rd.
January 23rd, 2024, is we had an appointment with the surgeon, and he told me your cancer tumor has gotten so large that we have to amputate your leg. And you have to amputate your leg at my hip.
Down.
Down, the whole thing. They won't. And I said, "Doctor, we can't do that. There's gotta be other options." He says, "There is no other option." That's okay. I says, "I can't make this decision right now. I'm gonna talk with my wife, I'm gonna talk with my family." As soon as we left the doctor's office in the hallway, first guy I called was Lee, my friend Lee, my brother Lee, my savior Lee. And I said, "Lee, they want to take my damn leg. They want to cut off my leg because of my cancer." He says, "They're not going to take your leg. You come to my house right now." When I started taking Lee's THC pills, I stopped taking those. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling almost like my old self, almost. This day, my tumor continues to shrink.
We had a scan.
We had June 13th.
Another 2 centimeters.
It shrunk another 2 centimeters.
Yep. September, another centimeter.
Another centimeter. The doctors are baffled. They're saying, "Whatever you're doing, continue doing what you're doing. We'll see you every 3 months for a scan." And the doctors right now
calling you a
are
miracle.
calling me a miracle. more than one time.
And it's unfortunate they're not asking you what you're doing.
And how I'm
That's
doing
the
it.
sad part. They're not asking what we're doing. So to my mind, they don't care what he's doing.
All I'm asking is hope. There is hope
Yes.
and alternative ways of doing things
Yes.
other than the Western medicine way that they want things done. My tumor has shrunk.
Yep.
And it's continuing to shrink. It's not spreading.
Yep.
Life is good.
And we talked about things being a coincidence.
You can do exact same thing.
Yes.
There are alternative
Yes.
options.
Yes.
THC being number one,
Yes.
which, look at
You're
me.
proof.
Look at me.
You're proof.
This can be you. God bless you all. Thank you. I'm Peter. I'm here to tell you my journey on how I'm healing and beating cancer. I'm taking Lee's medicine, and I'm here to explain how this can work for you. I'm 60 years old, and again, I'm beating cancer.
Unforgettable, that's what you are.
For decades, the marijuana plant was banned, most notably in the United States since 1937, hindering research into its medical benefits. Now, cannabinoids are emerging as powerful allies against cancer, offering a more precise and less invasive treatment. This challenges the pharmaceutical industry, which has long profited from costly, aggressive therapies. As access to information grows, more people are awakening to natural alternatives that could transform medicine.
Welcome to my little paradise here, guys. I don't bring many people in here, but today, it's a special day. We're going to show the world what we're really doing. And I can stand here and be proud to say that I'm the guy that helps a lot of people with cancer. I've been fighting cancer now for over 8 years solid since they took my brother's life away from me. And I never had a chance. I never had a chance to save my brother. But I've saved lots of people within doing that. So, this is a little room that we do, one of our rooms. It's very important for this stuff. This stuff can change the world. Believe me when I tell you, it can change the world. But we have to work together. And I'm praying for the people that we're doing this for, and the people in the world will know exactly what we're doing. Now, guys, this is a very special plant, and as you see, it doesn't grow to the ceiling and give you 2 pounds of plant. It's a little plant. It gives you a couple ounces, a few ounces of plant. That's it. But this is medicine. This is not marijuana, what everybody thinks for pleasure. This is medicine. And when we all know that, and you see this film today, you're gonna know what this medicine does. You're gonna know what our formula does. I started out something small. Now we got doctors, we got scientists, we got thousands of people that we've helped. Lupus, Lyme disease, it goes on forever. Guys, listen to me, enjoy what we're doing. Let's get this terrible disease out of our country, out of the world. And this is for everybody, not just me.
Meet Dr. Joseph Gabriel, a molecular pharmacologist and genetics expert with over 35 years of academic experience. He embarks on a transformative journey to explore the therapeutic powers of medical cannabinoids. His work uncovers a fascinating synergy between plant compounds and the human body, revealing their profound effects on cancer, autoimmune disorders, and beyond.
my name is Dr. Joseph Gabriel. I university professor for the last 35 years and trained in molecular pharmacology and genetics and worked mainly with central nervous system diseases. About 3 years ago, I met Lee, and he showed me some of the videos of this medication, this plant medicine, and I couldn't believe what I seen in its effects with cancer and autoimmune disorders and epilepsy and so on. And I wanted to get involved. It's a medicinal cannabinoid plant. It's not recreational, it's a medicinal plant. At this particular point, I want to advance the science even further from what I've seen of the effects in humans by looking at the mechanism of action of this plant. The plant contains cannabinoids, as we have an endocannabinoid system in our body, but it also has flavonoids and alkaloids and terpenes, which I think acts in synergy. That's the beauty of plants, that they just don't work on one effect, but they work between all the molecules in the plant. This is a plant that's affecting the bioenergetics of the cell, or the energy of the cell. And when you have cancer, it's consuming your sugar in your diet, and it's making the cells proliferate. There's a dysfunction in the bioenergetics of the cell, and it uses an archaic system that allows for the production of lactic acid, which changes the microenvironment and it affects the immune system. Taking this plant medication for as few as 2 weeks, we see that it resets the energy of the cell and helps boost the immune system. It's something miraculous, and now we're working with government agencies to validate what the plant is doing and how it's working. We know it works, but we want to know why it works. So we want to have it evidence-based through validation of science, so we could actually show other scientists and medical doctors that this plant is not only a one-off, but it works in a significant number of people.
Rocio Briceño, a 47-year-old woman who faced breast cancer with unwavering faith, was told a mastectomy was her only option. She made a life-changing decision to rely solely on Lee's cannabis oil, rejecting chemotherapy and radiation entirely. What makes Rocio's case extraordinary is not just her choice, but the speed of her recovery. In less than a month, her tumor shrank by 70%, allowing surgery to eliminate the cancer completely. Her case is now documented as the fastest remission using only Lee's oil. She never let cancer defy her. Instead, she found purpose. Today, she shares her story as proof that when faith, science, and the right hands come together, miracles happen.
Fui diagnosticada de cáncer de mama el 6 de agosto de 2024. Todo comienza al sentirme una bolita en mi seno derecho. Lamentablemente no le di la importancia de vida, puesto que mi ritmo cotidiano de trabajo es demasiado intenso. Entonces, hasta julio de 2024 decido hacerme un chequeo de rutina. Y al ir con mi doctora de cabecera a la interpretación de los estudios es donde ella me dice que ahí hay algo grave y que tengo que ir. ya con un especialista oncológico. Y decidimos ir directamente a FUCAM. Cáncer de mama en fase 2. Ellos me recomendaban como único camino una mastectomía para retirar completamente el seno derecho. Se lo comento a un socio y amigo mío y él es quien me da a conocer el maravilloso tratamiento que ofrece Lee. A los 5 días estábamos iniciando este proceso. Solamente era tomar unas cápsulas y ahí se acabó mi historia del cáncer. De una manera increíble, milagrosa. Estamos hablando de menos de un mes en el que yo no conocía el cáncer. Creo que Dios actuó. Lee, que te agradezco con todo mi corazón. Esta experiencia me cambia la vida y no con miedo, sino con mucha fe y mucha alegría de saber que hay gente muy buena dando sus conocimientos y sus herramientas para salvar vidas. Soy Rosy Briceño. Fui diagnosticada con cáncer de mama el 6 de agosto de 2024. El 22 de agosto conocí el tratamiento de Lee. El día 28 de septiembre yo ya no tenía cáncer en mi cuerpo. Con mucha fe y en las manos adecuadas, los milagros suceden. Vencí al cáncer.
Craig, a 60-year-old general contractor, faces stage 4 prostate cancer. This is his story, a fight for healing and a testament to the power of determination.
Hi, I'm Craig McGilvery, and I'm 60 years old, and I'm a general contractor. I have stage 4 prostate cancer. I have a Gleason score of 8, and I'm going to tell you my story on how I'm healing from cancer. I have a lipoma on the side of my neck, and my daughter was getting married, so I was hoping to get rid of the lipoma before her wedding. I went to the doctor, and they said, Craig, we just want to do some blood work on you. And they did the blood work, and my PSA was high. We went to the doctor, checked that out. He said, Craig, he says, we think there's a good chance you have cancer. So they ended up doing 10 core samples of biopsy on me, and which I regret. And they said, Craig, you have stage 4 prostate cancer with a Gleason score of 8, and it's high risk. What they wanted to do to me was 2 months solid of radiation and then 3 years of hormone therapy. But before that, what happened was when I was getting diagnosed, my brother was dying of AML. And I've studied the marijuana plant for 10 years. Someone put me onto Lee's site. And I tried my best to convince my brother and convince other family members that this is amazing, this is an answer. And unfortunately, I couldn't do that. I lost my brother June 17th, 2023. He died obviously with cancer, but I firmly believe that he died because the treatment was so brutal. He was tortured, as far as I'm concerned. I was sat at his bedside for a solid month. But yeah, I knew right then and there where I was going, what I was doing. And so I called up Lee, and Lee said, yeah, come on down. So I went there, and I talked to Lee, and he says, okay, you gotta get to 10 pills. I didn't start these pills until September 18th. And when I started right on 10. I shut down business. and focused on myself. I think it's very important that you need to think for yourself. I'm Craig McGilvery, and this is my testimonial on how I'm healing myself from cancer.
For over 24 years, Anthony Massey has faced the relentless battle against cancer, from melanoma to prostate. This is his story, a testament to the power of perseverance and self-belief.
My name is Anthony Mancini. I've had cancer for over 24 years. My first cancer was melanoma. And then 5 years ago, I got a prostate cancer. When I got diagnosed with cancer, it all started that a friend of mine told me about Lee. He brought me to this place. I had known him before because he'd come to see me for his neck problem. But when I came here, I lost probably, 50, 60 pounds. Lee didn't recognize me. His wife Antoinette was mad at him because she said, well, why don't you know who he is? And he's like, I didn't know that was him. Anyways, I got the oil and it changed my life. The oil, it heals you. It gives you hope. With the medical system, I found you're waiting for somebody to do something for you. When I got Lee's stuff, I'm doing something for myself to help and heal myself, which you don't get in the traditional medical system. It's unbelievable how they don't really care about your personal feelings. It's about their results, not your results. It's incredible the amount of people he's helped. You have to try to help yourself with what Lee's been doing with. Yeah, initially you do get high, but then your body realizes what it's there for. It's there to kill the cancer. And then you stop being high and it does what it's supposed to do. Let that go. There's no problems. You get through it and then it does what it's supposed to do. The medicine does what it's supposed to do. When I started taking it, from the surgery, I was already sick. So I took it, went to sleep and it worked. Like it just does what it does if you let it do what it's supposed to do. I'm in the medical field. So when you go to school and they teach you all these things, I was never taught there was an endocannabinoid system in your body, which this is made for that. Like this system and the stuff are supposed to come together to help you. And no one ever taught us that. Like I never understood why I'm only learning that 30 plus years into my career. It's so us. You need to really let it do what it's supposed to do. And if you want to heal from cancer, this is the stuff you need to use. When I met Lee, my blood levels still showed there was some numbers that were too high. When I started on the oil, the next 3 months I went back with my blood work, it was cut in half. The next 3 months it was cut in half again. And then today there is nothing happening in my blood work. 3 months ago, I was told I was cancer-free 5 years after my prostate cancer. Every blood test, every doctor's appointment, every time you get something you gotta go follow up with, you feel like you're dying. Like honestly, you feel like you're dying. And with Lee's oil, it gave me hope. And I honestly can tell you, I would not be here today if it wasn't for that stuff. My name is Anthony Mancini. This is my journey and my healing process with Lee's oil.
Cannabis has been used for thousands of years, with evidence dating back to 8,500 BC. Revered for its medical, religious, and recreational properties, it was a trusted remedy until the rise of modern pharmaceuticals.
We're going to the Levinsky Hospital in Hamilton. It's the biggest cancer hospital we have in our city, but it's probably one of the bigger ones around. That's where I was supposed to go get my chemo, my radiation, and my operation. But as you know, I'm not going. They said I'd be dead in 6 months. I got some bad news for them. I'm not gonna die. I'm cancer-free. 97 days cancer-free. How do you like that? And you know, everybody, I talk about chemo and radiation. I know it's one of the only ones they offer you. But why in 200 years are they offering us this? You gotta remember, this has been going on for 200 years and it doesn't work. Come on, guys, something's wrong here. Ira was pretty excited yesterday, eh? Do you know I've never seen him that excited? Yeah, I seen him yesterday, but he was so excited yesterday because he was puzzled that we really cured it, you know? He said to me, Lee, I can't believe it. I've never seen anybody do what you're doing. Nobody. You know, well, unfortunately, that's not my fault. This is Provinsky Hospital here. This is where you come. This is where they wanted me to come and get my chemo and radiation and my operation. I couldn't believe my ears after the doctor told me there was no chemo, no radiation for my neck when I had squamous cell, throat cancer. He said, Lee, we have to try something. We've been doing this for 200 fucking years, I said, and now we gotta try something now? Come on, doctor, do something better than that.
I'm gonna cry right now because I'm going to see my cousin who's got cancer. My cousin is up there. They tried to do chemo. They tried to do.
Tell her to come and see me. I'll help her.
I told her, but her doctors are telling her she's got to get her other stuff cleared up before she can come and see.
What kind of cancer is she?
She had kidney cancer, and now she had breast cancer.
So it went from her kidneys to her breast.
They took one of her kidneys out.
See, I could have fixed that. Eh?
I can't believe I saw you. I almost started to cry because I've been trying to reach you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was gonna cry now because I've tried to reach him like.
This is the way you meet people on the street. You know, people know me from Canada. They walk down the streets, anywhere there's a cancer hospital or anything like this, they all know me. I'm asking you all now to come on board. Let's do this, let's clean this up, let's get it away, because you don't know what's gonna happen until it hits your family. And when it hits your family, then the problems start. Hey doctors, all the thousands of doctors that are following me, come on, quit hiding, get out in the open and stick up for yourself. Thanks everybody.
I met a man, his name is Lee. A heart of gold that you wouldn't believe. He's got a gift he shares for free, a remedy that brings relief. Oh Lee, you're a legend, true. You stand up tall against the blue, with hands so sure he holds his ground against the giants that try to tear him down. Through fields of green, his mission is found. He brings the light where shadows drown. In crowded rooms, his story told, a beacon bright, breaking hold for every life. He's mended whole. He's a hero who shares his soul. Oh Lee, you're a legend, true. You stand up tall against the blue. So here's to you, a shining star. You've healed so many from near and far.